Hi friends! This is DaintyTank. Thank you for joining me. This is the testimony of Trixie Glimmer Smith, Belle's Route. We have finished this. Poke the Totoro, the iCard area up there. Poke, 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 poke. To see the actual playlist and see all of this game. If you're just coming, hi! Welcome. I hurt you too. But this is where I'm going to actually play through Belle's Route. Much like I played through Gregg's route, Poke the Totoro for that one. Which blew my mind. Just, oh, that adorable, adorable little dude. So, Gregg's route, Poke the Totoro, Belle's Route, now. You'll see me cutting through and you'll see some jump cuts because there's going to be some areas where we've repeated and we don't need to repeat again. So just be aware of that. I'll try to say skip anytime that we're going to have a skip so that way you're prepared for it to flash forward. Just wanting to let you know. With all that said, let's actually jump into this. Loading Z. I am declining Heidi's offer. Sorry, Heidi. I've got some other stuff. Hey, new sweat, Trixie. You don't have to explain yourself. Oh! Well, I skipped. I'm sorry. Okay. Last time we grabbed the book was kind of boring, so we're gonna message Tabby. And we've already read through this. Again. Poke. Skipping. Or messaged Belle and asked if I could go to North Acres with her. There we go. Thought about Gregg's invitation. I did want to learn to make cakes, but I knew Belle was heading to North Acres today. Given its reputation, I really wanted to see it for myself. I just hoped I hadn't been... Oops, excuse me. Whew. Given its reputation, I really wanted to see it for myself. I just hoped I hadn't left it. I hadn't left it too late. I'm a little confused on that one. Then again, Belle didn't strike me as particularly punctual herself. Oh, you didn't leave too late to catch up with Belle. Got it. Beep boop beep boop beep beep. Sent Belle a message, and as expected, she was still drinking her morning coffee. She said she'd pick me up on her way to North Acres. Quickly showered and got myself at least vaguely presentable. Yesterday's encounter with Nikita all but forgotten. Oh dear! Those tires shouldn't be squealing like that. Belle turned up in her milk float. Good 10 minutes later than she said she would be. No wonder she's having such a hard time with her manager. It was a rickety old thing loaded with a surprisingly small amount of milk. North Acres evidently didn't get through a lot of it. Hey Trixie. Sorry. Hun, got it. Hey Trixie. Hope I didn't keep you waiting, haha. Not at all. Much. A bit. Well, you better hop on board. Hopped on board. I'd tell you to put on a seatbelt on, but there isn't one. Tax reasons or something, the boss says. She shrugged. Still, this thing only hikes like 30 miles an hour, so probably don't need to worry about that. 30 miles an hour is still way too fast to not have a seatbelt. Come on, let's get going. I'm starting to think this wasn't such a great idea. We drove along the main road for a while, and I appreciated the chance to admire the view. Eventually, we turned off onto a bumpy countryside road. It was paved, albeit poorly. The milk float shook as it navigated the potholes littering the track. What's the matter, Trix? You look like you're gonna throw up. I probably did. I don't handle bumpy rides that well. I didn't expect the road to be so bad. It turns to dirt pretty soon, which is actually an improvement. I don't know what you'd expect though, haha. North Acres' reputation should have preceded it. You gotta be about the only person who actually wants to visit North Acres. I tell you, if I get out of Milk Run, there I would. I mean, half the reason I chose to move to Blue Hill County was because there were so many interesting places to visit. Well, that, and it meant I was a nice distance away from my parents. Oh, do we actually get to learn about your relationship with your parents? But I mean, like, North Acres has such a strange history and reputation, and besides that, there's the lake, Standing Stone Barrow, Cyber Drake Coolios from Mars World, the best fan-made theme park for Draculos fans. Well, that makes sense. So I hear. And I keep meaning to visit that old bird settlement in the woods. Caca Breed Tree? Been part of an words today. Forgive me for my words. Words are hard. Especially since I had a rugby hit into the head. That and stuff. Been kind of interested in bird history recently. Bird tree, might be nice. Get some of that old-fashioned learning done. I'm more of a street smarts gal myself. I know the name of every street in town. You gotta in my line of work. I don't think Belle knew what street smarts actually meant, or she was joking. Could be hard to tell with her sometimes. Belle was right. We hit the dirt road and the float stopped shaking. We wound slowly upwards into a hilly North Acres. Is that the skull tree from, Gregg's route in the upper left there? Huh. Ooh, but look at the right. Oh, those houses that look almost like Tudor-esque. Reminds me of Heart of the Woods, actually. Like the kind of old German-looking structures like that. That's beautiful. We eventually trundled into Avigdon, the largest village in the area. It was about what I'd expect. But you had the largest village in the area. Took you through some of the worst, like, roads in the area. It looked like it hadn't changed since the Dark Age. The buildings were old-fashioned, but kept in surprisingly good condition. Could almost have been mistaken for a normal old village, if not for the strange effigies hanging from every house. Oh, each was clearly handmade by the house's occupiers, but they all depicted the same thing. An elongated prehistoric deer skull with a tangle of twigs for antlers. Yes, so that's the thing that we stole from North Acres and created the abomination from Gregg's oven. Which, poke the Totoro, you want to see that. Long rags of black cloth hung from them like a tattered cloak. I recognized the creepy things immediately as depictions of the antlered tree, a strange woodland entity I'd read about in some library book about local monsters and myths. North Acres is infamous for their worship of it. The details were fuzzy, but I recall it being some kind of harvest god. Supposedly, it had provided food for the region during the long ash storms of the Dark Age. Strangely, the area didn't seem to have any farms, no crops, no sheep, not even imports other than Belle's milk. And yet, it still functioned. Creepy. Weird place, huh? Is like a history or something. Like a history? Yeah, alright. Oh, yeah, it's pretty old-fashioned and creepy. I bet they all vote for the Conservatives. Sorry, I'll try not to inject too many political commentary into my statement, though I'm sure since you all work with the university, you don't like the Conservatives either. There's 3 exclamation points. And it's moments like this that I remember she's still writing all of this for the faculty admins. Jeez, Belle. It only goes 30. Belle pulled up outside an old house. It was an impressive stone brick building. Way nicer than the town's crummy modern buildings. Kind of wanted to take a photo, but remembered last time I did that, my phone briefly caught fire. Okay, Trixie. Gonna go hand out the street's milk. You okay waiting here? Oh, sure. I'll wait. Plenty to look at, right? I was about to get another look at the poster when I heard the sound of smashing glass. I was briefly worried a local had thrown something at us. The way everyone spoke about them didn't exactly endear me to them. Turned to see Belle, milk and glass, littering the ground under her. Geez, Belle, are you right? What happened? Ha! Hooves, am I right? Wondering how she would pick up the bottles with her hooves. Cows aren't exactly famous for their ability to hold things. Belle managed to get a hold of a few other bottles and make her way down the road. And there was a poster on the building next to me. It was hard to make out with my eyesight, but looked kind of interesting. I hopped out of the float, looking around. I was glad the street seemed to be deserted. I think I'd seen like one local scowling at us when we first entered the village, and no one since. The poster depicted the same entity as the effigies decorating the area. All residents are invited again to the Church of the Flesh Mother. August 28th, our Mass. Please bring gifts. Our Flesh Mother? Sounds like a little needle to me. Gross. No wonder most cults died out once we got the internet and people had better stuff to do than worship a tree. What you up to, partner? Went for a wander. I thought I'd stretch my legs. Are you done already? No, I've only done the one street. We got a few more. Then there's Worcester, Oak Hill, Millsmith on Drought, Millsmith under Hill, and then Oh, well, let's try this again. No, I've only done the one street. We got a few more. Then there's Worcester, Oak Hill, Millsmith on Drought, Millsmith under Hill, and then Ogden Church up on the hill. Come on, let's keep moving. We drove slowly between each of the stops. All of the settlements were largely the same. A few old houses, posters with a celebration, and strange effigies. With the heat starting to beat down on me, North Acres was somewhat outstaying its welcome. So what is it you study at the university then? Not ghosts? Ghost houses? What? I mean, I wish. That sounds fun. No, I study regional history and culture, like local history and stuff. I read some books about Blue Hill history back in college and thought it would be fun to learn about. Sounds fun. What job are you looking to get into? I haven't thought about that far ahead yet. Thinking's overrated. You should enjoy yourself while you're a youngin'. Before the world of work crushes your soul forever. Pretty sure Belle's only like a year or two older than me, so didn't really appreciate her calling me youngin'. That's a term of endearment. If she's southern, yeah. We rolled to a stop at the end of the long driveway. A brick gate decorated by another of the weird effigies guarded a long dirt path which winded out of sight. A plaque confirmed that it was a church overlooking Ogden. Oh, so we stole from the church. Great. You okay to wait here, Trix? I gotta walk all the way up to the church to drop the milk off. Last time I took the float up the path, some old guy yelled at me for disturbing the dirt. Oh, sure. I can wait. Belle climbed out of the float and grabbed a couple of bottles. This time, she only dropped one. She waved at me, then set off down the driveway. I slouched in my seat. Today had been interesting. The weather was great, and it had been nice to get outside after the last few months of staying in my room 24 hours a day. Last few months. Perhaps more importantly after the weirdness of the last few days. Belle had vanished up the track by now, and I had no way of telling how far it went through the woods. I squinted, and I think even without my horrible eyesight, I wouldn't have been able to spot the church through this thick tree line. Suddenly, I caught movement out of the corner of my eye. The music went dead. No. The effigy. Oh, it had! Oh, the effigy had turned to face me. Ooh! Ah! Had the wind blown it? I hadn't felt any wind. No. I'd have noticed a breeze, I was sure of it. The effigy stared into me with its empty wooden eyes. My stomach growled. I was starving. Oh. I heard a snap in the woods behind me and spun around. There was nothing there. I stared into the trees, not wanting to look away or blink until I was sure I was alone. My eyes being strained and blurry with tears. When I eventually turned back to the hanging effigy, I screamed. Ah! The hanging horror had moved from the right side of the gate to the left. I was sure of it. Really? But it had been on the left. I screamed and I grabbed one of Belle's emergency raincoats from behind my seat. I dropped into the foot area of the seat and cowered under the coat, shaking. This place was wrong. It was cursed. I knew it. I was hiding for a long while. 10, maybe 15 minutes. Had Belle forgotten me? Had she been kidnapped by crazed locals? Set on fire as a sacrifice? Did she have to run home and turn the oven off? That's very specific. Suddenly the coat was yanked away from me, the bright summer sun hurting my eyes after a long, dark imprisonment. Trixie? Belle looked more than a little weirded out. Okay. We are saving that. We're gonna admit that we were freaked out. I freaked out a little. Sorry, Belle. The creepy effigy thing turned around and looked at me. I'm sure it was the wind, hun. No need to worry. She chuckled. Come on, there's like 3 more stops and we can head back to town and get lunch. Sound good? Crawled back into the seat and nodded. Sorry, Belle. Felt really stupid. I was pretty sure Belle was embarrassed on my behalf. No worries, son. This place gives me the creeps too. The heat's probably getting to your head, you know? She was right. The entire area felt off. I thought back to everything I'd read about North Acres and shuddered. So lunch, yeah? At Gregg's? Lunch sounds good. Okay. We trundled along North Acres dirt roads a while longer, stopping on the occasional secluded cottage to drop off a bottle of milk. I was thankful that Belle never had to walk off up any long drives without me. I'd calmed down a little. The effigy had really spooked me. Belle was probably right. The heat wasn't good for me. Besides, the roads here had probably shaken my brain like a bottle of fizzy drink. It had been my imagination. I hoped. Woohoo! Hey! We know where this is. Hey, Gregg. Hi, Belle. Trixie. Oh god, you're so freaking cute. How are you two today? Bad as always. I've been taking Trixie along on the milk run. Wow, sounds exciting. I ended up getting a bunch of cupcakes, and I think Belle got a coffee and like 20 vegetable rolls or something. So, Gregg, I was hoping everybody would be down the attic mouse tomorrow night. You two want to come along? Oh, jeez, I'd love to, Belle. I have some stuff going on tomorrow night, though. Oh, anything fun? No, really boring stuff. Like box Gregg. Don't mind box Gregg. I love this. Yeah? What you doing? His face blinked for like 10 seconds. I was about to ask if they were okay when they spoke up. Tax! It's about the end of tax year. I'm gonna drink 15 energy drinks and work out my tax return. So, oh my goodness. Neither me nor Belle knew enough about tax to really question that, though Gregg's eyes flitted back and forth guiltily, and they looked like they might have been breaking out into a nervous sweat. I figured maybe they were fiddling with the books. Naughty. That's too bad, Gregg. What about you, Trixie? I wanted to, but I thought I'd better check on Nikita. I was pretty pissed that someone I basically hate had become someone I felt responsible for looking after. Sorry, Belle, I have to do my coursework tonight. It's due pretty soon, and I haven't really started. Dang, that's a shame. Hopefully Heidi and the bros can come along. Or it's just me by myself again. Oh well, I'm pretty sure I hit on some cuties if that happens. She forced me to smile. I think she was a little sad. Alright, Trixie. Let's get back to uni. Don't want to get in the way of your degree. Haha. I was pretty glad to be back. It's getting way too hot outside. So, Trix, you want to come out again? Just like you know... Words. You want to come out again, you just let me know, okay? For sure, Belle. Thank you for taking me today. It was really interesting. They'll give me away and sped off as fast as rickety float could manage, which admittedly was pretty slowly. Okay, we've seen this part, so I'm skipping. I had a nice day with Belle and spent most of the evening online looking up information about North Acres. It was as sparse as expected, but nothing I didn't already know. Oh, here we go. Eventually I managed to get asleep. Only to be immediately woken up by knocking at the door. Alright, we're gonna skip. Okay, so last time when we apologized and let her continue, she had the knife. Last time with Gregg, we pressed the issue. And she took crazy scissors. So I wonder if I go back to apologize and let her continue, does it turn into a knife again? Although crazy scissors was very fun. I'm gonna press the issue. Pressing the issue again. Yeah, Nikita, I really think you should get some help. I hate to admit this, but it scared me a lot. Set up an attempt to tower over me. I'm gonna click through. Shut up. Stop it. Okay. What did she grab? No, I guess I need to just skip. Skipping. Open the king in yellow. Skipping the king in yellow. Okay. We haven't tried to distract her with my coursework yet. So click. Nikita, wait. What about my coursework? You owe me, right? You could at least help me with that and keep your promise before you get mad at me. You think I care about your little report? You can do it yourself or perish, you pathetic little thing. You saw my calling inked into the page. Alright. Skipping. My phone started buzzing around non-stop. Similar messages poured through hundreds of unknown numbers. I tried to block them, but more and more flooded through. Were these all coming from Nikita? Did she have friends? Or was this something far worse? Nikita had a weapon. She was unstable. Thought about how she had spoken earlier that night. So it was a knife. Then, I guess. Interesting. It scared me. I needed help, but who would believe me? Didn't want to burden Belle with it. Well, Belle seemed a little too chill to be able to handle this kind of situation. No offense to her. There was the police. Didn't really like them, but maybe they were my only hope. Last time we didn't phone the police because they are useless, but let's have the hilarity of phoning the police. I knew I had to try. I dialed the police. Hey, I'd like to report a dangerous deer at my university. Wait, who's this? Check the number. It was definitely the police, so why were they whispering? Through my ears trying to pick up the words, but I couldn't hear the faint murmuring. I'd like to report an incident, so shut up. I know you guys are a bunch of homophobic bootlickers, but at least try to do your job right, okay? Hello? A temp female voice was being mocked. Then I heard the word Carcosa and my blood chilled. Police were compromised. I disconnected the call. This was hopeless. Nikita was somehow gotten to the police against me. I gave up. I had to deal with this alone. Okay. Skipping. I got another text, this time from campus security. Apparently the person next door, I think Misty Dartmouth or someone on the museum studies course, had put in a complaint against me. Apparently I've been talking to myself all night and scratching the wall. Oh dear. Shame. I liked her. If just because she had a nice name. Licked in the wall. It was true. I'd left some tiny claw marks in them. Was my deposit gone? Maybe I could buy some paint off of Heidi and hide them? But right now, I have more pressing problems. Huh. By the time I was ready to face the world, it was already pretty late. Needed to do something. After last night, the last thing I wanted to do was be trapped inside with my mind all day. No way was I going to be in time for Belle's milk run now. Well, try. Decided to message her anyway, just in case. I was right, Belle had already started her trip to North Acres, but she said she could drop around later if I wanted. I certainly wasn't too sad about not visiting North Acres again, but it would be nice to get outside. I took her up on the offer. Belle must have noticed I was feeling dour in my messages. She seemed to be trying to keep me pepped up. It didn't really work, but I appreciated the attempt. I had a few hours to kill before Belle arrived. Briefly considered using it to try and find Nikita, hoping desperately that last night had been a bad dream. Instead, I ended up arguing on cyberbat.net for a while. Some poser was trying to claim Cyberbat Diggy Wraith's new uniform was out of character. Someone clearly hadn't watched episode 33. I gave them a schooling. Kept me distracted until Belle rolled up in her float at least. She looked chirpy. Hey Trix, hop in and we can go drive around for something. First stop, Heidi's. We reached Heidi's shop to find Heidi jamming a broom into her vending machine to a chorus of crow screeches. Heidi looked up and gave us a grin. She stepped away from the vending machine, and the bird sounds stopped. Belle seemed unfazed. What's up, hackers? What do you want? Magazines, bitch. They high-fived. It was really weird. Hi, I'm here too. I waved timidly. I wasn't cool enough for these two. Hi, Trixie. Sorry. Hi, Trixie. How's not having a job working out for you? Ha 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 ha. I'm joking. Need to concentrate on your studies, young lady. Belle bought a copy of Milk Jugs magazine. My parents always told me I wasn't allowed to read that, so naturally I got Belle to let me flick through it. I'm sorry. Copy of Milk Jugs magazine. My parents always told me I wasn't allowed to read it, so naturally I looked through it. It was pretty disgusting. Oh, Hey, Bill. I'm really sorry I couldn't make it to the bar tonight. I've got some stuff to deal with. Crowbar Inc. is giving me horribleness because I mailed them something they interpreted as a bomb threat. Which is horrible, by the way. It was an arson threat. Drama queens. They messed me over with that mass crowbar order, and I don't let them get away with it. So yeah, I have to go, like, apologize to them and horribleness. Jeez, Heidi. That's like 7 in a row tonight. Their CEO is a bat. Is a bat? Like literally a bat? Or are you gonna take a bat to the CEO? My ears perked up. I could do with a rich sugar bat. Oh. Dang, that's too bad, hun. Oh well, I'm sure we can hang out another time. We better get going though. We're going on a fun trip. Sounds fun. That's in the name. I'll let you get on with it. You two have fun. She started jabbing her broom back into the vending machine. The loud cawing started up again. I decided not to question it. We got back to the milk float, ready for adventure. Say, Trixie, how about we go visit some spooky places? She gave me a friendly slap on the back. Ow. Oops. Hooves. Sorry, Trixie. Haha. You like spooky places though, right? You're doing your nerd ghost course at uni, right? Hey, it's not a ghost course. It's like history and stuff. It's important. It's just most of my work is ghost history. So where did you want to go? I asked nervously. After last night's event, I wasn't sure I wanted to be near haunted places. Still, after reading The King in Yellow, I knew that there was far worse places in the universe than Old Lady Whitetail's haunted pantry, or wherever Bells wanted to go. Well, Wilted Rose Lake isn't too far, and you can see Standing Still Burrow from there. Maybe you'll spot Splashy the Snake or the Spooky Beast. That's 2 monsters I look for the price of 1. You mean the water snake and the antlered beast? I mean, yeah, sure. Sounds fun. Wanted to check out the lake for a while. Maybe you're right. We might just see some scary monsters. It was sweet of Belle to want to cheer me up. Even if it wasn't stuff she seemed to be all that into. I couldn't say no. We drove for some time, making small talk. By now, my Nikita and the King in the Yellow were pushed far to the back of my mind. My Nikita. Oh. Take a look, Trix. I think we're here. She was right. We drove alongside the Wilted Rose Lake. What is that thing up in the upper left that's on top of the hill? Distance. Oh, Standing Stone Burrow dominated the skyline. DaintyTank, just read. There were all kinds of stories about this lake, and it only took one look to see why it had such an unpleasant reputation. Still black water filled with... I can words good. I can words very good. I am not objectively the best at words, because I actually know my limits. Still black water filled with what was once the Rosefield copper quarry. Despite the summer breeze, the black mirror remained motionless, almost entirely without a ripple. The dark water was utterly impenetrable. Anything could have been lurking mere inches beneath its surface. The blasted shoreline and dead vegetation surrounded the water were almost as bleak as the lake itself. Oh jeez, I underestimated how creepy this place was. The lake? Yeah, I tend not to look at it too much when I drive past. That dark water gives me shivers, you know? Sure, it's nothing too weird, though. Here, the minerals and the machine oil at the bottom are what makes it look so nasty. All mixed up in the water, you know. Oh, right. That makes sense. Wait. Does that make sense? This place is a whole new level of depressing. It reminds me of Swindon. It just feels wrong. I mean, I ain't no miner, but what else could it be? Wiltero's water snake? Belle chuckled and parked the float next to the solitary picnic table. The squeal. Quiet. Who would want to relax here? I don't know. Despite me and Belle, I guess. We sat down at the bench and I took a look at the standing stone burrow. This is pretty imposing. That hill's pretty impressive, huh? Fancy climbing it later. What? No. Is that even possible? It's gotta be at least 100 miles tall. What? Further research has shown me that it was in fact 311 meters. But I think my point was still valid. Where's your pioneer spirit? Pioneer spirit? What does that even mean? Belle just chuckled. I still can't tell how much of what she says is serious. Despite the area's strange aura, I felt the calmest I had been since I'd read The King in Yellow. I almost felt like everything would be alright. Thanks for bringing me here, Belle. It's super... I was going to say nice, but I guess interesting is a better word. That would seem to be a running theme for places I visit. No worries, partner. I thought it would be nice to get you out of your room. You seem stressed. Huh? Why do you think that? Oh, that face. Can we go back? That face. Yeah. Belle chuckled, although I could tell it was meant kindly. I mean, you've been fidgeting non-stop pretty much all day, and you keep staring off into the distance like you're remembering something. Then you keep looking over your shoulder and talking under your breath. I didn't realize I'd been doing that. How long had I been going on? Who else might have noticed? Sorry? I'm stressed, but I didn't want to talk about it. I couldn't. How could any sane person understand what it is like, have glimpsed the city under the sunken moon, the white of the pallid mask? I needed to say something. I knew Belle would worry more if I remained silent. I sighed. There was only one thing to talk about. I've been avoiding the subject for a while, but Belle seemed like someone who might understand. And at least, I'd not have to bring up Nikita's horribleness. I've been worrying about failing uni and having to move back home. What's wrong with him? Your parents not happy with you? No, I just need space. Since I started transitioning a few months back, I just feel like I'm a screw-up making a mistake and forcing them to deal with the fallout. Which I know is like a super unhealthy way to think. It's just like always hearing people say they knew they were trans their whole life makes me feel kind of fake, I guess. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, my dear. I'm sorry you feel that way. I didn't always know this, and only putting the pieces together when I was 20 made me worry. I was just imagining my crippling dysphoria. But I know I'm not, and the more I think about it, the more I realize I've always known. I just didn't have the words or knowledge to understand it. Yeah, I can totally understand that, how that trips you up. Especially, like, it kind of hitting you later because you just assumed default. And unfortunately, default with heteronormativity means that you're never going to hit onto an idea like trans. It's just a really hard feeling to deal with. I mean, heck, I still doubt myself now, even though I'm not feeling awful for the first time since puberty. Oh. If I'd known earlier, I could have started HRT before testosterone finished ravaging my body like a plague. I brushed the fur out on my arm. It felt like wire. I'll never look or act like a real girl. Oh. And I know that's a horrible invalidating thing to say. It only hurts everyone, trans and cis. I hate myself for thinking it, but it's how I feel sometimes. So yeah, I'm avoiding home is because I'm worried I've made a mistake somehow, and Mom and Dad are going to be ashamed of me for being so foolish. Oh, my love. Especially since it looks like I'm probably going to fail uni. Oh, you kind of going through a lot. Like, transitioning is really hard. Oh, I just realized on Trixie's left ear is the patch for her estrogen. I just put that together. I didn't think about it before. I remember we went through earlier in the series and she talked about her patch and putting on a new patch. But I always just assumed that was a Band-Aid. I didn't think about it. I didn't put it together. Ugh. Okay. And like, changing my name, it was super important to me, and I love my name. I love being Trixie. Go ahead, you should. I love Trixie, actually. It's a great name. But when I started using it, I felt so ashamed, like I betrayed my parents. Your parents don't get to be the end-all on what your name is. Heck, I'm DaintyTank. That's an invalidating thing to say. I actually personally hate my real name. I absolutely hate it. It's just not me. So I understand how important it is to change your name because it's so impactful, but it hurts me so much to see Trixie feeling so torn because of the fact that her parents are part of just this built up guilt that's from just heteronormativity hitting her. Oh, I love you so much, and I'm so sorry. After years of support and care from them, something not everyone can get. To tell them they were wrong about me, it just seems so cruel. I mean, they're not wrong about you. You're awesome, and they love and support you, which is great, but you're not telling them that they're wrong about you. It's just that they didn't know who you were because you didn't know who you were. And now you found it. Now you found who you are, and you can tell them and show them the awesome person you are. Because you're awesome. Ugh. I hate this feeling of guilt. Like I've done something wrong all the time. None of this makes any sense. I hate it. I don't know where all of that came from. Deep blocked inside your heart. Definitely. I'm so sorry that you're feeling that way. You are so loved. Guess bottling up my emotions for the last decade had been a bad idea. It's okay, hon, I understand. What about you, Belle? Did you used to feel like this, or am I just sounding weird? Sounded like Belle had nothing to say for once. Felt a little awkward. Wanted to move to a lighter subject. So, why is it called Standing Stone Burrow anyway? Kinda implies it's a burrow like full of dead skeletons. With standing stone on top, yep. I wasn't too keen on staring at a hill full of a lot of dead skeletons. Not too keen on staring at a hill full of a lot of dead skeletons on. It's like she read my mind. I mean, it's okay, it just takes away from the lovely view a bit. It's the circle of life, hun. I don't think that really means anything in this context. Belle shrugged. Nothing wrong with dead skeletons, hun. Besides, they're so old they've probably turned to dust by now. I think. I'm not a scientist, I'm afraid. I'm a milk woman. In the end, we never did spot the water snake or the antler beast. Is this like the most chill timeline? Once we were back at uni, Belle brought up the bar again. So, looks like no one else is coming tonight after all. Heidi's busy with domestic terrorism or whatever that arson stuff was about. So, so is Gregg. Busy, I mean, not committing crimes. You really don't know, but yes, that actually is happening. And LaRose says she has to mark her students' work, although obviously that's a lie, as she's just in her room marking them all F- where she drinks wine and cries. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to come along, feel free. She looked pretty desperate. Don't leave me alone. I couldn't though. I still felt exhausted after last night, and that emotional outburst earlier had taken the last of my strength. I needed to get home and rest. I needed to stop ignoring my problems and deal with Nikita. Okay. Tell the truth. I mean, everybody, well, not LaRose. LaRose is not telling the truth, but it's okay. Sorry, Belle. I still need to get my work done, and I'm really tired. Me and my friend Nikita had an argument, and it kept me up most of the night. I need to get some sleep. Get home and sleep. An argument? Everything okay? I mean, nothing big, just a disagreement in literary interpretation. That's a great way of saying that my friend grabbed a knife. That was close enough to the truth. Nah, hon. That's what's gotten you so sour today. Find some other stuff to do tonight. Or drink alone. Both fun things. I hope you and your friend make up soon. You just care about them a lot. Feel this torn up about a little argument. Belle was too nice. Basement of Daffodil Lane. I'm gonna skip. I blacked out, and when I woke I found myself elsewhere. At first I thought I stood at the shore of Lake Hallie, but quickly recognized Wilted Rose Lake. I was stood on a small island in the middle. Belle was next to me. Something emerged from the water in the distance. The water snake? I thought. I squinted, trying to get a better look. It had gone. I turned to Belle, about to say something, when she jumped into the dark water. I yelled for her, but there was no answer. I stared across the lake in fear. What could I do to save Belle? And then I felt the cold touch of spray splash against my back. I turned. Before me stood the decaying spire of the stolen city, and the twin lamps of Carcosa rose from the cold dark clouds, whilst wisps of vapor fell from them like water. The city seemed almost to retract from me, a terrible screech emanating from its dread spire. I stepped back and screamed as I felt myself fall backwards into the icy water of the Wilted Rose Lake. Dark liquid filled my lungs and silenced me as the cold hand of what I assumed was the Dark King settled over my mouth. The King. I realized that I was not the King, nor Carcosa that dragged me into Wilted Rose Lake. No, they had pushed me, in the Wilted Rose, away in fear. What was pulling me into depths was far worse than the King in Yellow. Ooh. I plunged back into consciousness and awoke screaming and shaking. I started from my room. I was alone. Whew. Alright, skipping along. Side message Belle. If I could get outside again, I could avoid dealing with Nikita for another day. Sorry, hon, I'm a bit of a state today. Ended up at an attic mouse all night, and now I'm horrible. I refuse to get out of bed. Good job, it's my day off. Oh no, I hope you feel better soon. I'll let you rest. Belle's typing was pretty impressive considering she was hungover. Better than mine, even though I was sober. Aside, with nothing to distract me, there was nothing else for it. I have to face up to Nikita. Okay, skip. The center point of the 3 standing stones was nowhere near Daffodil Lane. Heck, Daffodil Lane didn't even fall in the area between them. The midpoint was the lake. Surely someone as smart as Nikita would know that. She was bluffing, she must have been. Or maybe she meant some other standing stones. I hadn't bothered considering that she might be wrong. She wasn't. She was Nikita. She's smarter than me. She knew what she was talking about. All I could do was try to keep up with her, or give up. Didn't have long. Nikita had said for herself that all she needed to do was wait and... Wait and what? Alright, skipping. Okay. Alright, indeed. So this is a little bit different, but had to cut it short because of the editing. Realized it was way too long. So this is part 1. Come back for part 2 of Belle's routes. See the cute cat. And beyond that, I'll see you next time. I love you all. See you later. Bye!